Hey everybody, Mr. Andrews here. It is Friday, April 3rd, the last day before spring break for Summit Academy. Hope everybody's doing well, hope everybody's staying safe, and I hope everybody is staying inside. Maybe going outside on the occasional walk or something is fine, but please make sure we are taking everything that's going on seriously. But, this is our dedicated time for sixth grade social studies. The plan today is to really go over the newest assignment that was posted on Google Classroom earlier this week on Tuesday. I've seen about 2 to 3 students from sixth grade already turn that assignment in, which is pretty cool to see. And as a reminder, hey girl, hey Dimitri. And as a reminder, you guys have still a little while to kind of get this assignment done. The article that was posted on Google Classroom. Um, so I believe the 13th is when this first round of work is being collected or when it's going to be graded. Hey Trevor, good to see a handful of us here and active. So we'll give it a few minutes. That way, if we have more students, they can come on in and join the chat. But again, thank you for those that are joining us right now. If you guys haven't already, just want to remind you guys to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also tell your friends and classmates to do so, and also hit the little bell icon so you guys get notified whenever we post new videos. And make sure that you select all. That way you get a better chance of receiving the notifications whenever we post videos or whenever the teachers do go live. So if you haven't yet taken a look at the newest assignment on Google Classroom, and Dimitri, I saw that you turned it in. I think we talked about that yesterday. Trevor, I don't know if you've seen it or have been able to access Google Classroom, but if you're able to, please check that out. There's an assignment with instructions. So that's pretty much what I'll be going over today. And Lena, if you are hanging around, also in your Venus classroom, make sure you give that a look if you can access it. So like I said, we'll give it a few minutes. That way we can go ahead and kind of wait for more people to join us if they want to. But again, it's Friday. I hope everybody's having a good week, and I'm looking forward to this spring break, which I think is very much needed for everybody, students, family, teachers, all of us. I think I'll just take a break from the schoolwork because I know it's a lot. I know everybody's trying to keep their head above water, it seems like, with everything going on, trying to make sure we can just maintain our sanity with everything going on. I know this isn't always the easiest thing for everybody, but everybody's doing the best they can, and that's something we appreciate. So hopefully that my twins who are babbling back and forth between each other, hopefully they get tired and start going to sleep here soon, because I want to try to stay on as long as I can for you guys. I don't want to have two. Hey, David. Yeah, they're downstairs in their room, if that says anything, because I'm upstairs in my little study, my area of our bedroom that I kind of have my desk set up and everything. Yeah, I put them down probably about 20 minutes ago. For about the first 10 minutes, hey David, for about the first 10 minutes, it was pretty quiet. They're probably drinking their sippies and stuff like that, but then afterwards they just all started babbling. So I hope that they kind of get through this, so that way I can stay on as long as I can. So yesterday, if for any reason this gets cut short, yesterday's video, we were able to go the full hour. That was for the 7th grade, but again, it's really the same kind of thing that 6th grade will be going over today. So if for any reason I have to cut this a little short, check out yesterday's post, and I'll definitely try to come back later in the day for you guys. But I know maybe a lot of us probably just woke up a little bit ago because maybe we pulled an all-nighter playing some video games or watching stuff. But I know super early is probably not the time a lot of us want to be kind of watching these live streams or watching the videos. So that's why I try to kind of go for later in the afternoon. And like I said, if I'm able to, I'll post a video later and try to go live a little bit later so other students can catch the second part of this. But, we'll give it a few more minutes, see if anybody else kind of pops up on the chat. Looks like we got a pretty good crowd right now, or got a good amount of students that have joined us. Again, hope everybody's doing well. It's going to be a nice day outside. So I know I'd like to take the boys on a walk through our neighborhood if we're able to, if they want to cooperate. So David, you were you're going to stay. I appreciate that, Trevor. David, I don't know if you saw on Google Classroom, but I sent you and I think it was Chris a message. There was some mix-up with the assignment from earlier this. Your mom bleached your hair. Oh boy! So it's even more blonde than before. But David, there's some mix-up on the assignment. I initially got it. For some reason, I wasn't necessarily seeing it, so I tried fixing it, and I think I may have made it worse. So where I didn't see your submission or Chris's submission, but if you haven't checked out Google Classroom, I put in the message, you don't have to do the assignment again. Again, that's because I messed up something. I screwed it up. So I'm not going to make you guys do that again. You guys got the assignment graded. Dimitri, like I said, I saw that you submitted yours. Yours, probably going to do some of the grading over spring break or maybe later today if I have time, and I'll get those scores back to you. But so here in about 3 minutes, like I said, we'll get started. And Trevor, if you're going to stay, your skin looks translucent now. It looked like a little fish. All right, see your bones and everything. But Trevor, if you're going to stay on, we're just going to be going over the assignment and that I posted on Google Classroom about, I think it was Tuesday. I gave a little heads up on Monday, and then I posted the assignment on Tuesday. It is a article on Google Classroom. Or the whole assignment's posted on Google Classroom, but it's an article from Scholastic. We've done these before, things like current events, or if a article pertains or connects to our topic. I always try to find stuff like that I think you guys will be interested in, or that ties in very well to what our content is. And since for that packet work, you guys were examining the makeup of our government, the foundation of it, the 3 different branches of government, and kind of what some of the roles and responsibilities, who's in charge or who's involved in these different branches of government. But the article is going to look at something that the government has to do every 10 years, and we'll get more into detail with that in just a couple minutes. Does anybody have anything they're going to try to do, again, within the confines of their home, I guess, over spring break? Just watch your favorite movie over and over again, play your video games nonstop. And I always try to get some gaming in throughout the day. Let the boys watch something on TV, and then it's like, all right, my turn. So I got to either watch one of my shows or play a game. So I play some games on my Switch or on my tablet. So I try to keep myself busy so I'm not going stir crazy. Hi, Chris. And Chris, I appreciate that you're here. I don't know if you guys, or Chris, I don't know if you saw, but I just kind of told David this. I sent you and David a message on Google Classroom the other day. I saw that you guys did the work, turned the assignment in, but for one, I'm going to try to get my days and nights mixed up. That sounds like a good plan. But Chris, for some reason, when you and David submitted your work, because you guys were the first ones, I wasn't able to see it. So I tried fixing that, and somehow I messed it up a little bit. And I think your assignment or your work got kind of lost in the whole thing. So I said for you guys, that's something I did wrong on my end. I'm not going to make you boys do the assignment again. I graded it and sent it back to you. So if you have time, double check Google Classroom and kind of check that out. That message I sent you and David. But again, you guys do not have to do the work again because it was a mix-up on my end. But I appreciate that you guys kind of got started with the assignment right away, did it quickly. But yeah, so please don't worry about trying to get the assignment done again. And maybe if you catch this later, or if you join us a little bit later, there is proof to Netflix I'm still watching. Yeah, so like I said, David, I put the assignment, or I graded it and sent it back to you guys. But if you're going to watch this later, just make sure that you try to get the assignment done, by the 13th or before the 13th. It's not due today necessarily, but you still have some time because that's when that first round of work is going to be graded. And I think Miss Yingling the other day, yesterday or Wednesday, sent out an email kind of explaining the current situation about when that first blizzard bag material is going to be collected, and then there will be a next round of blizzard bag material. Since if you haven't heard, we're out of school until May 1st. Whether we actually are back in the building after May 1st, that remains to be unseen, or that remains to be seen. So we really don't know yet. If I was a betting man, my guess is that we are probably not going to be going back to school for the rest of the year, but I don't know. That decision is not up to us. And I think more than anything, the teachers and you guys, we all kind of want to be back in school just to get back to normal. But uh, sorry, I heard one of my boys. But we want to try to. Okay. All right, David. It looks like I got a notification that you resubmitted. Like I said, you didn't need to do it again. But I appreciate that you did. But we'll see kind of how this whole thing works for the rest of the school year. You like it this way, Dimitri. It's definitely interesting. It's challenging. Not the easiest thing. I mean, it is nice not getting up super early, I guess, but I still got to get up early whenever my boys wake up. And they, like Kellen last night, he fell down outside last night in our driveway. He scraped his hand, and keeps on saying he has a boo boo, and he didn't sleep very well last night. So he and I kind of slept on the couch. All right. So what we'll do is go ahead and get started with the article. So again, if this is your first time maybe hearing about this assignment, I'll just do a quick kind of walkthrough to kind of go over the steps how to get there. So if you're able to, Trevor, or anybody else that has not yet checked out the assignment, it is posted on Google Classroom. So hopefully you can access this on a laptop, desktop, tablet, phone, whatever you guys have available. So I'm going to use your guys as your classroom as an example. Obviously, you guys can't see my screen, but I'm just kind of going through that right now. So it should be the top assignment that just about all of you see, okay? And it is called a Junior Scholastic Census article, and week of 3, like 30 through 4-3 or so. Okay, so and there's a detailed list of steps or instructions here. A detailed list of instructions here that kind of tell you what you guys need to do and where you guys need to check out the stuff. So it's asking you to click on the article why everyone's talking about the census, and make sure you sign in with Google Classroom. Hopefully, after you sign in with Google Classroom, it takes you directly to the article, and you don't need to explore the article. But if for any reason that you cannot get to Scholastic's website or see the article, I also did attach a PDF of the article, and you should be able to access that regardless of what browser you are using, whether it's Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or anything else. So what I'll do is read the article here kind of for you guys. I know some of us really appreciate either listening to the read aloud on Chromebooks like at school, or maybe just working with a group and kind of hearing it. You guys can also follow along on your own if that's something that helps you. But please make sure you sign with Google Classroom. If it asks for a class password, as of right now, they haven't given us a new one or anything like that. So that's why I am asking you guys to sign in with Google Classroom. And it should work. I've kind of updated it. That's the way everybody, even you, Trevor, and some of the other, newer students were having issues signing in. But I think it should work for you right now, Trevor. So I'll give you guys a second if you're going to follow along so we can get to the article. Okay. All right. So the article is having us take a look at why everybody's talking about the census. Now, maybe the census is something you never heard of before, but it is pretty important to kind of our politics. And it's important to kind of our daily lives as well. So it's both politics and daily lives. And we're going to see kind of why that is here in just a few minutes. This article is not very long, I don't think. It has a short introduction and it's broken into three sections. So, like I said, I'll do the reading out loud for you guys. If you want to follow along, more welcome to do that. Or if you want to kind of read on your own pace, that's fine. Um, Once the article is done, I'll go through the next steps of the assignment, which is to get to the quiz on Google Forms. I'll read the questions and kind of talk about them a little bit more, but I'm obviously not going to answer the questions for you. Um, but I'll make sense of them if they are a little difficult. So, why everybody's talking about the census? The government is preparing to take its once a decade count of every person in the United States. Here's what you should know. So, the United States is counting on Americans to count themselves. April 1st, so just a few days ago, marks the official start of the 2020 U.S. Census, a nationwide tally of every person living in the country. The federal government conducts a census every 10 years, something that's required by the Constitution. And again, the Constitution is our plan of government. It sets up the different branches of government, talks about the things that each branch needs to do and what the powers and rules are. So this is one of those things that our government has to do, is do a census. Okay. So as part of this national headcount, U.S. residents answer a short questionnaire about themselves and their households. Their collective responses provide the government with important data about the country's population. The results help determine everything from how to distribute tax dollars to where to build new schools and public parks. So, by law, the United States Census Bureau uses data collected from the census for statistical purposes only, and it keeps people's individual responses private. So, really, what that's saying, how they determine what money goes where and how it's going to be used, they're not looking at people's or people in homes, like their personal information or data, anything like that. They're just looking at the percentages and the statistics. Okay, so if in this county of a certain state, we see that there's a large number of children, or there's the average population or age of this population in this area is under 18, so it would make sense to maybe put a park in this area, just as an example. So how is the census conducted? I'm back in the article here. What kinds of questions are in it? And how will the information the government gathers affect your life? Here's what you need to know. So hopefully everybody maybe have seen this, or maybe if this is brand new to you, maybe ask your parents if they got the census paperwork, and you can kind of see the questions that are being asked in this. And we'll kind of go into a little bit more detail as we finish the article about the different ways that people can answer it and cool things like that, because this is something that happens once every 10 years, so it's not something that is all that common. So number one, who gets counted in a census and how? The census aims to tally every person living in the country, including citizens, non-citizens who are here legally, and undocumented immigrants. Deployed military members, people in prison, and homeless people are also counted. So earlier this year, the Census Bureau mailed a notice to every known household in the nation detailing how to participate. I remember getting this a couple weeks ago. I got two of them, actually. I don't know why. I don't know if one went to me and one went to my wife, but it came in like a blue paper, like a light blue paper. So maybe, if you saw one of those around on like a dinner table or coffee table or something, or that's what that probably was. Most people are encouraged to respond to the questions by mail, by phone, or new this year, the internet. So to ensure that every person is counted, the Bureau plans to hire about 500,000 workers to go door to door starting next month to collect answers from people who haven't responded. Given the current situation of what's going on in the country, I wonder how this is going to work. So maybe those hire more people to call and stuff like that, or to send emails. I'm curious to really see if there's going to be a lot of people going door to door starting here in April. And if you look at the picture, you can see a census worker there. That's back from 2010. So I think this is in Florida. So kind of make these workers know. They give them maybe a bright uniform so they stick out pretty easily. So you know that it's not just some sort of solicitor trying to sell you something. It's a government worker trying to help to kind of do the job. All right, section 2 here. What questions are included? The census asks respondents about their age, sex, race, and more. Everyone in each household must answer the questions, or someone else, such as a parent or spouse, must answer for them. My wife completed this one. She completed the census for us. She did it on her phone again because that's one of the things, like not calling, but just went to the website on her phone because that's new this year. That's the first time that people can respond on the internet. Respondents will not be asked whether they are U.S. citizens. President Donald Trump's administration tried to have that question added, but the Supreme Court blocked it, saying it could discourage participation among undocumented immigrants who may fear deportation. So, what this part is, the second paragraph, number 2, that's looking at actually a checks and balances in our government. Now, that's not something we've gotten into a whole lot. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how many people, Dimitri. But this second paragraph is cool because it looks at a check and balance kind of in action in our government. Again, that's not something that the packets went over a whole lot. They went into separation of powers, but not necessarily checks and balances. In the next round of the Blizzard Bag material, that's what, or part of the Blizzard Bag stuff will kind of go over the checks and balances and how this concept or how this rule or this principle that our government is supposed to follow helps make sure that not one part of our government becomes too powerful. And you can, in this chart, if you're looking back in the article, what's new about the 2020 census? People can answer questions online for the first time. It's going to count same-sex couples, married and unmarried. And the survey is now offered in 13 languages total, including Arabic. So, obviously, in the United States, people speak more than just English, a lot of languages. Fun fact that the United States does not have any official language. Could be really different, like South Africa, where there's like a dozen official languages. But yeah, the United States is definitely a melting pot that has different groups and ethnicities of people all who speak different languages. So 13 is quite a big number. Okay. All right, so we're on section 3 now. So why does the census matter? So the census data helps the government determine how to distribute about $675 billion a year in federal funds. And that was billion with a B, so that's a lot of money. That money is used for everything from repairing highways to building schools. Businesses also use the data. For example, a clothing company might analyze census statistics to decide where to open new stores. Again, kind of like the example I was giving earlier. If, city officials see that maybe the average age in the given county or city is really young, maybe they'll put a park in there so families can take their kids, or a clothing company trying to find a new place to open their store. Okay, they're going to see that the average age is like 18 to 44. Pretty young age, with fashion on the mind, I guess. So, okay, we're going to open a new store in this new up and coming area. So these are just examples to think about how the census data is used for us, for like regular citizens. And the next paragraph, they're going to get into how the census data is also used in terms of the politics. Okay. So census results also determine how many seats each states get in the United States House of Representatives. Okay, House of Representatives, if we remember from the packet work, that's just one part of our Congress, or one part of the legislative branch. We've got the House of Representatives and the Senate. And both of those two parts, or the two houses, make up the legislative branch. So House seats are based on each state's share of the nation's population. So because the total number of House seats, 435, doesn't change, some states may gain or lose seats after each census. And Ohio has seen this compared to 2000 and 2010. The state of Ohio actually lost kind of its influence in the national election, the one that determines the president, because between the year 2000 and the year 2010, a lot of people moved out of the state of Ohio because there just weren't as many jobs available. Ohio used to be part of the Rust Belt, a big factory state where cars were made, steel was made, but as technology changes and companies look for cheaper ways to make their products, a lot of the work went overseas, and people unfortunately lost jobs. So, um, back to the article here. So, because the total number of House seats, 435, doesn't change, some states may gain or lose seats after the census. I know I just reread that. So, that in turn affects the presidential elections, as each state is allotted votes in the Electoral College. Okay. So, what you're able to do, is to click on the words that you see there in blue. So, Electoral College is a group of 538 people from all 50 states and who formally elect the president and vice president of the U.S. So, in the United States, the national vote or like the popular vote does not elect a president, and that's one of the only times in the United States where the popular vote doesn't necessarily predict or kind of pick a winner. Um, yeah, rubber is still made, but not at the capacity that it used to be. Akron used to produce most of the world's rubber. I feel like, hence Goodyear, Firestone, and all these other big companies that called Akron home. So, kind of interesting to see how the census affects both politics and kind of personal lives there. So the 2020 census, however, won't affect November's presidential election because officials won't begin releasing the data until December. So in the next presidential election in 2024, that's where you're going to probably see some of these states either lose electoral votes or gain electoral votes. The Electoral College is definitely an interesting system in which a president is chosen. Again, if you click on the word and the definition and some other context pops up there, says some people want to get rid of the Electoral College and let popular vote determine who is elected president and vice president. This has been getting a lot of momentum, or it's been getting more and more popular, I think, with people kind of ever since the year 2000, because we had the 2000 election and the 2016 election both happen in which the person who won the popular vote did not win the presidency. And some people think it's like, well, is that a true representation, or is that a true form of democracy where popular vote doesn't really mean, I don't want to say anything, but it doesn't matter as much. So there's a good debate, and that would be a fun thing to have in class. If we could have a little debate and split the class up in two sides, that'd be something that I'd like to do. And that's more or less like an eighth grade topic. But since the situation, both group or all three grades got the same work, it could be something that we impose to you guys perhaps. But yeah, that's the article. If you guys have questions about the article, go ahead, please make sure you type it in, let them know. Again, I know most of us that are kind of in this chat have turned it in already, but again, I still appreciate you guys sticking around, and it's nice not just to be talking to myself here. So what we're going to do now is then go back to Google Classroom. And maybe if it's just you, Trevor, that's listening or following along, you can do that. So back on Google Classroom, if you look at the instructions, or if you look at the directions for the assignment, okay, we did 1, we did 2, and now we're looking at number 3 here. It's asking us to open the Google Forms assignment. Okay, what I had it titled or named was different than what it actually named it in the assignment for some reason. I don't know why. But if you just look under, it should say Google Forms. So it's know the news why everybody's talking about the census, or about the 2020 census. So what we'll do here what I'll do here is kind of go over these 10 questions. Like I said, I won't necessarily be going over what the answers are, but I can go a little bit more in detail, give you some maybe helpful hints or clues as to what exactly the question is asking. If you haven't, please keep the article up, because you can use the article to help you answer these questions. Keep it up so you can go back to the text and double check. That's kind of the key here for, I think, really getting this quiz done well. So 10 questions, all multiple choice. Nothing you need to type or write out. No short answer, extended response, anything like that. All multiple choice. At the very top, if I remember correctly, it's going to ask you guys to enter your email address. So this is the same one that you would enter at school, or that you have entered at home, to make sure you can access all the stuff that we have for you. So just make sure you type in your email address, first name, last name, the number for you guys. I had 26 maybe for 6th grade. at sa-students.org. I did this the other day just kind of as an example. I think I picked A for everything. I got like 1 out of 10. But I was just, again, practicing, kind of making sure that what I assigned was making sense and it could be done by you guys. But make sure you guys are able to type, or you guys are typing in your email address, because if you don't, I can't see the scores and I can't give them back to you. So please make sure you type in the email address there. So again, just 10 questions here. It's asking us, read the article on page 10, 11. We did that. You'll need to click submit at the very bottom to share your responses with me. So like I said, I'll go over these questions one by one, and that probably should take us through about most of the hour. Okay. And I'll answer any other questions that you guys have, or if you guys just want to talk and hang out, that's fine too. So let's go ahead and take a look at question number 1. So what is the central idea of this article? Is that officials will begin releasing data from the 2020 census in December. This year's census is offered in 13 languages. C, the U.S. Census Bureau plans to hire about 500,000 workers this year. Or D, census responses give government important data about the U.S. population. Now, for this one, all these things are true. All these things are directly stated in the article. But if we had to look at the central idea, we're not looking at specific things, but we're looking at the big picture. That I think can maybe help us kind of narrow down our answer or pick the correct response here. Which one of these is looking at the big picture, not specific details, but the big main idea of the article? Okay, so question number 2. Which statement about the census is true? A, the results determine how many seats each state gets in the United States Senate. B, it does not count the U.S. military members deployed overseas. C, it asks respondents questions about their age, sex, and race. Or D, it can only be completed over the phone. So again, it looks like 3 out of these 4 statements are false. So it's our job, it's our duty to kind of go back into the text and kind of match these up and see which one is actually stated as one of the things that the census is accurate, or which one of these things is true about the census. Again, 3 out of these 4 are incorrect. So just make sure we are reading very closely and taking our time and not trying to get this done quickly. Okay, sorry, I keep thinking I hear my kids. I can't hear over the headphones. That's partially why I put them on, and so you guys don't hear everything with the mics and stuff. So that's why I have this on half of my face. All right, so number 3. When does the 2020 census officially begin? A, March 23rd, B, April 1st, C, November 3rd, or D, December 1st? Again, make sure we go back to the article and see where it states, because it does state it directly in the article. So just make sure you go back, you have that tab open, or you pull up the PDF of it, and you can go double check your answer there. So a lot of these dates are kind of throughout the article, but it's on you guys to go back and see which one. Okay. So number 4, the blank requires the federal government to conduct a census every 10 years. Is it A, the Constitution, B, the Electoral College, C, the House of Representatives, or D, the President? Now, if I remember, just about all of these words, or most of them, are kind of that blue bold words in the article. There are some other words, but most of the options that you see there are bold. So make sure we go back and look closely and double check, make sure we pick the correct one. So what thing from about our government requires or is law, that makes our government do this count of the citizens every 10 years? Okay, we're on number 5 now. And Carmelo. We're just going over the questions in the Google Forms assignment about the article that was posted on Google Classroom. So hopefully you have access to get all those things. Your Google Classroom, there should be an assignment, should be the top thing you see. So what I did was read the article, and now we're going over the 10-question quiz, which is all multiple choice. And I'm just reading questions, kind of providing some helpful insights, not answering them for you guys, obviously, but just, again, trying to help out a little more. All right, so I believe we are on question 5 now. Again, just as a reminder, everything All these responses are going to be in the article. You just need to make sure you go back and double check. So, number 5, census data helps the government determine how to distribute about how much money in federal funds a year. Is it A, 135 billion, B, 350 billion, C, 435 billion, or D, 675 billion? Now, sometimes the numbers are they throw a lot of numbers there to as a way to kind of confuse you guys. So just make sure you're going back and looking closely, because you know one of those answers is obviously correct, and the other ones are just meant to really kind of distract you. So let's go back. I think this one can be found in was this part 1, or is this in the introduction? Sorry, I'm trying to double check to see where this was mentioned. This was mentioned in. I just saw it and I lost it. Sorry, I know this is great video looking at me trying to find a statistic or a number here in the article, so apologies. Okay, sorry, it's in section 3. Why does a census matter? So, if you need a little extra help, that's where. Line of 2. I'll probably end right about 2, or maybe just a little bit before 2. Dimitri. So yeah, 5. If you need a little extra guidance, check in section 3 of the article. Number 6. According to the article, the census aims to count all the following people, except A, people in prison, homeless people, immigrants who live in the United States, or D, travelers visiting the U.S. from other countries. Now, the census counts 3 out of these 4 people, but which one or which option does the census not count? Okay. So again, make sure we're just reading closely. So which of these statements is an opinion? Okay, so this always seems to be one, or opinion or fact kind of questions are always ones that trip up a significant number of students. So just make sure you're looking closely, again, going back into the article to double check to see which one of these is stated as a direct fact. So which of these statements is an opinion? Is it A, the Census Bureau keeps people's individuals' responses private? B, this year people can't answer the census questions online for the first time? Okay. C, helping the government determine how to distribute federal funds is the most important reason to respond to the census? Or D, each state is allotted electoral college votes based on the number of seats it has in Congress? So, again, which one of these is an opinion? So, key things to look for in trying to determine a fact from opinion, or is when somebody puts like a certain level on a idea or like a statement. So if they're saying, this thing is the top because blah blah blah, or this thing is the lowest because blah blah blah. So keep in mind for some of these keywords that change the whole meaning of the sentence. Okay, number 8. So we got just a few more questions here. Number 8. So the photo at the bottom of page 11 best supports which of the detail from the article. So I know if you are able to access this on Scholastic's website, the photo they're talking about is the lady in green, the census worker. Okay, so, I know it's like the top picture for if you can see this on the website, but for and the other, when you're looking at this in the magazine, this picture's at the bottom, but it's talking about the picture with the lady in green, the census worker. So back to number 8, the photo at the bottom of page 11, the lady in green, best supports which detail from the article that the U.S. Census Bureau uses data collected from the census for statistical purposes only. B, the Bureau plans to hire about 500,000 workers to go door to door starting next month. C, respondents will not be asked whether they are U.S. citizens. Or D, businesses also use the data. Again, look at the caption. That may help provide some insight or kind of give you a little clue perhaps as to which option this picture helps. Again, the photo they are referring to is the one with the lady in the green shirt and hat. So the and caption may clue you in a little bit. All right, two more questions for the quiz here. So, according to the article, the Supreme Court A uses census data to determine whether states gain or lose seats in the House of Representatives. B blocked the Trump administration from adding a citizenship question to the census. C ruled that census had to count married and unmarried couples of the same sex. Or D decides where companies should open stores. Again, 3 out of 4 of these are kind of just meant as kind of distractions or kind of changing the wording a little bit from what is actually stated in the article. So make sure you go back and double check. This one, I believe, um, if you're kind of stuck on this one or we're struggling a little bit, section 2 or number 2, what questions are included? That's where this one can be found. Okay, that's where this one can be found, is in part 2. Again, that's why it's important to keep the article up. So if you need to bring that up again, just go through steps 1 again, or steps 1 and 2 perhaps. Last question here: which detail would be least, not best, but least important to include in a summary of the article? The goal of the census is to count every person living in the United States. The next U.S. presidential election will take place in November. C, people can answer census questions online. Or D, the census involves short questionnaire about U.S. residents and their households. Now, 3 out of these 4 options do connect, or are important details that you probably would want to include about in a summary. One of them is kind of off task. It doesn't necessarily connect to what the census does or what makes up the census. And if you're including a summary, you want to try to hit the high points. Look at like the 5 W's, I guess, and imagine that you're explaining this article to somebody who hasn't read it. What would be some of the main points you bring up in a summary? One of these does not talk about the census or what the census does at all. Okay, one of them is just kind of a random fact. So make sure you are able to kind of suss that out, and that should hopefully help you a little bit. But yeah, those are 10 questions. Once you're done, maybe double check if you want to. Always suggest that. Go back through your work, make sure you got all of them answered, and that they all make sense to you. Once everything is done, you click the submit button. It's in the bottom left. Once you do, I will be able to kind of see who has responded. Again, I see that most of the 6th graders and a couple 7th graders have submitted, which is nice to see, but I know internet access is a little bit different for everybody. So, if there's any other questions about this work, please make sure you ask them. Whether you have them now, you can ask them in the chat, or if they pop up later, you can send me a message on Google Classroom, or you can, if you have access to the Google Hangouts for the students, staff, and family, ask a question on there. And hopefully we don't have other students just spamming it to be that person, as maybe some of you saw earlier this morning. For one reason or another, somebody thought it'd be hilarious to type goo 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 over and over and over again, because apparently that's funny, when that Google Hangouts thing is meant to be really helpful and try to help communicate between teachers, students, and family members. But yeah, I can hang out for a few more minutes. It seems like the boys have kind of calmed down finally. It's been a couple minutes since I last heard anybody. But yeah, if you guys just want to talk or something, and Dimitri, I know that you said your sister has an online class at like 2, or she has a stream to catch at 2, so I will be off before then. So I'll probably stay on for about 5, maybe 10 more minutes if you guys need to. Again, just talk, hang out, that's totally fine. I know something I'm looking forward to getting here either like today or tomorrow. I ordered my copy of the newest Star Wars movie. So I don't buy movies, but I only do when they're Star Wars movies, like the actual physical copies. And they're often like the kind of collector sets. Everything else I either just watch on like Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime, or just stream on YouTube or something. But some things I like having a physical version of, and Star Wars is one of those things. Obviously, since I am a Star Wars nerd, I gotta have those. So that's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. The thing I'm bummed out a lot about with this whole pandemic, I guess, is sports. It was supposed to be the start of baseball season last week. Uh, so I was looking forward to watching some Indians games. Um, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, to help prevent the spread of it, all sports leagues had to cancel or postpone season. So I'm hoping at some point later this year that um, baseball can resume, if obviously for a shortened season. Basketball was just about to get into the playoffs, but again, everything happened. Um, so it stinks, but I get why it did it, or why these leagues had to do it. Uh, Man, is anybody else doing have anything fun or looking forward to? To kind of fix my lack of sports thing, or to kind of hold me over until then. I've just been playing a baseball game on Xbox. Um, kind of started like my own baseball season on there, so I've been playing as much as I can. Just kind of watching some other YouTubers play stuff. Any good movies or shows you guys recommend, or games? I know Animal Crossing is the big thing right now on Switch. If it wasn't $60, I'd probably get it. But yeah, I don't think I can justify $60 for that right now when other things seem more important. But I hope everybody's having a decent enough time at home. Again, hope everybody's staying safe. Hope everybody's staying inside as much as possible. Roblox. Is it a free download, or is it paid? So yeah, it's the free for tablet. Okay. So it visually it looks kind of similar to Minecraft. Is that accurate or not, Dimitri? I don't want to say that it's just not than Minecraft, but the like graphics or something look kind of similar, and that kind of blocked and that blocky animation style. I always see it whether it's on like Switch or whether it's on like also watch stream. Well, yeah, semi accurate. Yeah, my wife and there's a handful of shows that we watch together. Stranger Things being one of those. We're about halfway through season 3. I know we're really late to it, but that's because we got caught up in other shows that we watch, and it just kind of got put on the back burner. But we do like this season. Um, Gotta love Dustin and Steve. Those two together are hilarious. But yeah, we like this third season. And I know the second season got a lot of hate for some reason by some people, but I thought it was fine. It was a good season, I thought. Um, yeah. One show that I've been watching and kind of binging, maybe an episode or two a day, or is The Expanse, which is on uh, Amazon Prime. A lot of games that are really like similar to Toolbar. Okay. Maybe I'll check it out. Like I said, been trying to keep myself occupied with some stuff. And I know that, Mitri, you got to get off the computer here for your sister in just a few minutes, so I'll try to hang on maybe just for a few more. What about Lock and Key? That's another one that I want to watch. I want to finish some other shows before I start a brand new thing, but I know it's based off a graphic novel of the same name, or a graphic novel series, but it's definitely one I want to watch. So I want to finish The Expanse. I'm about halfway through that. I got Altered Carbon on Netflix that I need to watch the new season of, and Lock and Key is going to be another one. Everybody's talking about that Tiger King thing. So my wife and I think we want to watch Tiger King on Netflix just because everybody is talking about it, and it sounds so crazy and ridiculous. Normally, I'm not one for stuff like that, but on like podcasts and shows that I watch, that's kind of all they're talking about. It's just how crazy it is. Um, so I don't know the maturity level of it. I think it's probably maybe not meant for younger audiences. But Lock and Key looked pretty cool. Kind of that like, I don't want to say horror style, but kind of like dark and weird. I like dark and weird kind of stuff. Like got two new puppies. Oh, that's cool. What kind? Because my parents just got a new puppy um, this past Sunday. Because unfortunately their dog earlier this year passed away. She was getting old and she was kind of sick, so they had to put her down. But they got a new puppy a little bit ago, and the thing is cute. I haven't seen it in person yet, obviously, but we video chat with them because Kellen and the twins like talking to Grandma and Grandpa. Huskies. Oh, there's a person that lives down the block from us that's always walking his husky, and that thing is gorgeous. It's all right. You too, Dimitri. Have a good spring break, bud. Oh, yeah. Huskies are gorgeous dogs. Alaskan. Okay. You know. Well, Trevor, did you have any questions about the work? Were you able to access it and get it done, or are you going to do it later? I mean, like I said, you don't need. It's not due like today or anything. You have until like once all the work's collected. Um, so let me know if you have a question, because if you don't, I'm probably going to wrap things up here. Um, yeah, you do have a question, or like, yeah, you got it done. Okay. All right. Well, Trevor, tell everybody, brothers, whatever, brothers, sisters, that I know at least, like Shay and Lucas, if you live with them, um, that I said hey. Um, but I guess on that note, bud, and anybody else still in the chat, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Just remember, if you have not yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Summer Academy Middle School, and hit the notification bell, guys, so that you can get notified and select all. I think it's like all, some, or whatever. But make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way, you are notified whenever we go live or post videos. Because I know there's been some students that don't always get the notifications and they kind of miss out on their class, or they miss out on something that they need for work. Um, but make sure you guys are working on the packets if you haven't, the Blizzard bag stuff. Check out the Google Classroom assignments. Other teachers have been active on Google Classroom. But, you know, next week is spring break. So take a break from work. Okay? But I hope everybody stays safe. Stay inside, guys. Go outside. Take a little walk around your neighborhood, but try to avoid the crowds. Again, please take everything that's going on seriously. We want everybody to remain safe. We do miss you, but I'm probably gonna head out here, guys. Thank you for those that participated in the chat, and we'll see you in a little over a week. So stay safe, guys. Bye.